We continue on here on SARampage.com with Rampage head coach Ray Edwards, an opportunity to sit down with the coach this summer as we prepare for the 2010-2011 season. Coach, you guys have already had a very busy off-season, so let me ask you about it. What approach have you and Brad used in an effort this off-season to improve the team? And what areas are you looking at that maybe you felt you were lacking in a little bit last year?
Well, it's hard to say lacking, but I think Brad and I both agree that there's a way to sort of build a group, and we both agree that you build from your goaltender out. And the organization has signed Matt Climie and Al Montoya, who both are very capable. And Matt obviously took Texas a long way last year, was part of that storybook season for Texas, and so that's a nice start for us. And then the back end, we've got some real good young prospects that are going to join the organization this year. We don't know who's going to be here, but we know there's going to be a combination of players that are here, and we're real excited about that youth that we're going to have. On top of that, we've signed a couple good veteran defensemen, again, in the organization. Are they going to be here? We're not sure, but there'll be a combination of a couple of veteran guys down here to really sort of solidify that group and to help Jeff with the development of those guys. So to me, that's the great start of it is we've been able to build from the goaltender, build through the defense, and now we're starting to put the pieces together up front. And again, the combination of players is up in the air. I mean, we'll go to camp in Phoenix and they're going to battle it out, and I think that'll be exciting. And exciting for those guys, but you're still a couple players away, I think, in Phoenix and down here to sort of round out the group, and then we'll let them all go up there in September and hash it out.
Let's talk about the goaltenders. Al Montoya comes back, I think, with a lot to prove this coming season after missing 3/4 of the year with an injury, and obviously he knows as he kind of gets older that he kind of seizes the opportunities for his NHL prospects going forward. And now a younger guy in Matt Climie, who has spent a full year in the American Hockey League, a full year in the ECHL. Last year, I think, was kind of the de facto number 2 in Texas, but when Brent Cron got hurt, really came in and took the bull by its horns and developed into a nice number 1 goaltender. And I know he's going to push Al, for a lot of minutes, so I think that number 1 job is really left unsaid right now, isn't it?
Yeah, I mean, I don't see right now, I mean, it's going to be a battle. And again, who knows what happens in Phoenix? There's so many different things that can happen. When we get them here, we'll figure it all out. But if it's a combination of those two, I think they'll push each other. I think you're right. I think Al has a lot that he wants to get done. I mean, it was our first game as a staff. Mike and I were, I don't know, it was the first period. Al went down, and we're like, oh my gosh, here we go, right? So, but I'm excited about Al and obviously Matt, and I think that's a nice start for us in the net.
There appears to be a bit of a changing of the guard with the incumbent veterans, at least so far, not being re-signed, and new veterans being brought in. Can you discuss that change in philosophy a little bit?
Well, I think the first thing was we wanted to make sure we had a veteran core on the back end, and so when you do that, I mean, you only have 6 veterans. So, unfortunately, some of the guys that were here last year wouldn't be returning. It's a little bit of both. It's partly them wanting to do different things, and partly us, just sort of changing things up. We haven't made the playoffs in 2 years, so it's not their fault. It's not anybody's fault, but it's sometimes you have to make some changes to get in the right direction.
You've always marveled at the Texas players every time that I've talked to you. You specifically talk about their discipline and their work ethic. So should we be surprised that you've brought 3 of them in to try and maybe instill some of that here, not to mention some success as well?
Well, yeah, I mean, we played Texas 12 times. The record, I don't know what I think, we're probably a little bit under 500 against them. But what I liked about that team, I thought Gully did a great job. I thought they worked as hard as any team that we played. I thought they defended as well as any team that we played. And obviously they had the goaltending and some veteran defense. I liked the way they built their team, and I liked the way that team worked. And so we've added, Matt Baudouin, we've added, Stafford and Climie, and, they're all big parts of that team. So I'm hoping that, some of that will rub off. And I think Gully and I coach very similarly, in that we try to manage our guys the right way, and we try to get the most out of them. We probably, systematically, I think we want to defend. We want to make sure we take care of our own end, and we allow the guys to have some freedom offensively. But I just was real impressed with the way they did things there and how their team was. And listen, they lost in Game 7 of the Calder Cup Finals, so something was going right there.
Nolan Yonkman from Milwaukee has a reputation as a physical shutdown defenseman in this league. Do you feel that the team was maybe kind of missing that guy a little bit at times last year?
Well, the guy that sort of filled that role for us was Sean Zimmerman, and I love Zim. You guys know how I felt about Zim, but he was put in a role that really he probably wasn't ready for. I mean, he did a tremendous job, but we really felt like we needed to have a veteran, shut down presence back there with physicality and a long reach, and just someone that can settle things down. And again, will Nolan be here? We're not sure. I mean, there's some jobs up for grabs this year in Phoenix, and if we're lucky enough to have him, I think that he'll be a nice addition back there. And I think again he'll do a great job helping these other younger players sort of make the transition.
What other moves do you see on the horizon? What other areas are you trying to maybe solidify right now as we go through the summer?
Well, we're still looking to fill that role of sort of your physical guy. We'd like to get a little bit grittier, and I still think we're a centerman away from sort of filling out the forward group. I think on the back end and goal, we're pretty much set. I mean, we're going to have some major decisions to make and some major competition for opportunity. And so right now we're two or three forwards away from sort of solidifying our forward group.